time, and we are live on 3 platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So, welcome all of you who are joining in, and those of you who will be watching this later. A big welcome to you, and thank you as well. So, work on workplace relations is, to just let you all know, those of you who are watching this for the first time, it's all about what needs to be done, delving a little deeper into those aspects which impact your workplace relationships, and what do you really need to do to be able to impact those aspects and take them to the next level so that you have better workplace relationships, more powerful workplace relationships. Yeah. And that's the whole idea. And we try and pick up aspects of our lives that we deal with every day. So they may or may not directly relate with workplace relationships, but at times in some shape or form they relate with you as an individual. How is your relationship with yourself, which is at the foundation of all of this, the whole relationship game, that is right. So today we will be talking about what is the future that you envision, what is the future that you desire, and how do you start creating that future. And why am I talking about this aspect? What does it have to do with workplace relationships, you may say? Well, valid question. So what I have realized in all the master classes, all the corporate leaders that I have connected with. So, what is the pain that you're going through? What is the challenge in the workplace relationships that you're going through? Everybody has, is all words, all expressive about it. This is the pain, this is how it makes me feel, this is the strained relationship, this is how it is impacting me, how severe it is, the intensity, all of it. So when it comes to the pain that you are experiencing in your workplace relationships, we have complete clarity, because we live that every day. We are running and rerunning that pattern and that whole pain, and we are living with that every day. But when I ask those same leaders, okay, great, I get that, this is the pain. What do you want now? What is it that you want to create? And that's where there is a pause. Good, rightfully so. I mean, pause is always good. But that's not the pause of, okay, let me articulate and put it, but it's more of a pause of never thought before. So I don't know what is it that I really want. And that is something which is so common. Quite often, we have no idea what is it that we really want. And I've realized this for myself as well. So, who am I and what do I really want are very, very fundamental and critical if you really want to create something out of this pain that you're going through. Within this pain, within all the challenges that you're facing at your workplace, the experience that you're having, now what is it that I want to create? And even before you start creating that future, the first step is to articulate, चाहिए क्या मुझे, वो फ्यूचर दिखता कैसा है. तो जब हम ये कहते हैं कि relationships are strained, it's not going well with my boss, with my colleague, with my teammate, with my client, any stakeholder, okay, got it. Now what do you want with that boss or that colleague or that teammate? What do you want? What kind of a relationship do you want? Now we are so given up. What I've seen and what I felt is that we are so given up on those relationships that our whole environment is just about blaming. It's just about sulking. It's about complaining, and we get so busy. All the energy is spent in sulking. All the energy is spent in what is not working, and no energy is left for creation. तो हमको लगता है कि जो संभव ही नहीं है, जो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, उसके बारे में क्या सोचना. सो कभी वो कॉन्शियस थॉट ही नहीं दिया उसको. And that brings me to the very, very important point, which is that it's important to articulate what do you want to create. So before you want to start creating, think about what is it that you want to create. So When I say think about what you want to create, you may say, I want to have a powerful bond or a meaningful connection with my boss. Lovely, very powerful. But how does that look like? How would you be in that relationship? Because clearly, right now, you are not who you want to be, which is why the relationship is not the way it is. So, who do you want to be? How would you want to be? So, I want to be able to have a powerful communication with my boss. I want to be able to confront my fears. Despite my fears, I want to be able to say what I really want. I want to be able to voice out my opinion. I want to be able to seek feedback. So, how are you going to be in that relationship? How is the flow going to be? How would you want it to be? So, articulating that and then visualizing it every day, every morning, creating and recreating that whole setup for yourself, that this is how I want it to be, this is what I want to create. Because we get stuck in how, we get stuck in this is not possible unless the boss does something. You're telling me to to do this won't work. The boss is supposed to do this, only then will this relationship work. Yeah. So the first step is don't get stuck there, how it's going to happen, but first create what is it that you want. What is the future that you desire within that relationship? The second step, now, how do you start creating that future? Well, this is something I've realized not many people are open to explore and accept this. Uh, and that is doing the work on yourself. And I've spoken so many times about doing that work on yourself. You would have heard about it so many times. But the fact remains that people are still not open to considering that, because the pain, the conditioning around what people do to you and how it works is so strong that unless they change, uh, things cannot shift. And we so strongly believe this. And in that process, we shift the complete responsibility and onus of this whole situation change on the other person. The boss, the colleague, the teammate, unless they do the work, things are not going to change. So we shift that responsibility there, which leaves us powerless, because the whole control we've given to somebody else, and जिसको दिया है वो हमारे control में है ही नहीं. So that's where you want to start creating the future. You've articulated, you this is what I want to create. Now start doing that work on yourself. What does that mean? Start seeing what is more that I can bring to the table here. What is it that I am missing probably? And you may not be able to figure that out on your own. You may need help for that. You may need time for that. Give that time to yourself. Give that space to yourself. Right? But please start doing that work on yourself, because that's where the whole creation starts. You can always try and influence others, but first earn the right to influence. You want somebody else to change? In what capacity? Have you done the work? Have you really gone ahead and reflected and had your realizations and had your share of work to be able to demand somebody else to change? I mean, demand not in the literal sense, but to even wish for somebody else to have a turnaround or change. When you bring about that shift here by doing the work, you then are able to create a circle of influence, and then people are attracted. People want to explore and see what has shifted, because people are observing. They are able to see what has changed. Something has changed. And if something has changed, what is it? And that pulls people, that tempts them to see, okay, what is it? And that changes not because of your way of being changing, or your way of being changing. The other person then wants to experiment, wants to explore, wants to give it back. So you doing the work and seeing a shift outside is not a coincidence, is not an accident, is not just by the way. It is a creation. And you can create only when you focus all your energy into creation. not on surviving, correcting, or just sulking, complaining. Because energy gone there, then nothing is left for you to create. So I think focus your energies on what is it that you want to create. What's not working, there'll always be something which is not going to work. Within that, what is it that you want to create? That is important. That is what you need to focus on, right? So I think this is a quick point that I wanted to make here. Do let me know what you think about it, and have you started doing that work? What is your thought around doing that work on yourself? Because I do understand it's not wrong if you don't resonate with this, but it's just that I would want to surely understand what is holding you back, or what stands in the way of you accepting this work. What is holding you back? Because what is holding you back from doing this work is what is standing in the way of you creating your desired future. And right now, consider you don't have that access because you're so so busy focusing on what's not working, on ensuring, or rather telling yourself forcibly, "Na na na, this is not going to work, this is not how it's done." So I'd say shift your energy towards focusing more on exploring, on creating, and that's where the journey begins. Yeah. So quickly to summarize, firstly, articulate the future that you desire within that relationship. How does it look like? What is it that I want to create? How would I want to be? How would I want my boss to be, my colleague to be? What kind of a camaraderie am I enjoying? Visualizing, creating all of that. And once you've created, articulated it, then starting by doing the work on yourself. I promise you, when you start by doing the work on yourself, you will start to see that shift outside. Absolutely. And if you think something is not workable, the shift is not possible, then you will know where to draw the line. This is it. Yep. So I hope this was a quick one. I hope this was valuable. If it was, let me know. And I'm going to see you next Sunday. Till then, have a great week ahead. I'm looking forward to connecting with you soon. Take care. Bye bye. Lots of love to all of you.